Welcome to About Mansfield. It is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Somark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio Northwest. This is the May 27th, 2026, 321st edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information. Let's check the stories we're covering this week.
Fatal stabbing under investigation in Mansfield.
Mansfield lands in the top 25 best places to live in America.
Mansfield to host Juneteenth celebration at Geyer Commons.
Improv comedy show coming to the Farr Theater.
Czech Festival coming to Mansfield in June.
Texas Rangers Foundation to present MISD with a grant. And in sports, Timberview proves they're the best on the track and on the field.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks in studio with nonprofit founder and CEO Doneta Bailey. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey, it's Luke with Cool Hand Electric and Air. Are your lights flickering? Is your AC struggling to keep up? Well, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are the local experts who fix it right the first time with a smile. Plus, 10% of our profits go to First Look and Waxahachie, so your project helps a family's future. At Cool Hand Electric and Air, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo with an invitation to picture Europe the way you've always imagined it. Morning mist rising off the river, hillsides glowing in autumn color, castles appearing through fog as your ship glides gently past. This is the Rhine River in the fall. Paradigm Travel Agency is hosting a Rhine River cruise November 12th through the 19th. Aboard the elegant Ama Lucia, sailing from Amsterdam to Basel. You'll stroll through medieval streets, enjoy warm meals and local wine, and wake up somewhere beautiful every day. No rushing, no repacking, just a relaxed journey through Storybook Europe. For more information, contact Claudine at ParadigmTravelAgency.com. Use the promo code MP111226.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
Hi, I'm Karen Mora. I'm the COO at Texas Health Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
Mansfield police are investigating a fatal stabbing that happened Saturday night at a home in the 200 block of Morgan Road in Mansfield. Police say officers responded around 10:51 p.m. after reports of a disturbance involving multiple people fighting behind the residence. When officers arrived, they found 2 women and 1 man at the scene. According to investigators, a 50-year-old woman suffered multiple stab wounds and was in critical condition. A second woman, age 43, was also injured. A 43-year-old man was not hurt. Officers began life-saving measures before Mansfield Fire Department paramedics arrived and transported both injured women to Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. The 50-year-old woman was later pronounced dead at 11:55 p.m. Police say the incident began as a verbal argument that escalated into a physical fight between the 2 women. Investigators allege a knife was used during the altercation. 43-year-old Jaricia Jackson was arrested and charged with murder. After receiving medical treatment, she was booked into the Mansfield jail. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office will officially identify the victim and determine the cause and manner of death. Police say the investigation remains ongoing.
Well, Colleen, Mansfield, Texas has once again earned national recognition, landing at number 25 on U.S. News and World Report's 2026-27 list of the 250 best places to live in the United States. The annual rankings evaluated cities across the country based on quality of life, desirability, job market strength, and overall value. Mansfield is also ranked number 10 among the best places to live in Texas and number 15 among the nation's best small cities. The report highlighted Mansfield's strong local economy, growing housing market, and family-oriented atmosphere as key factors behind the ranking. U.S. News described Mansfield as a community where residents are drawn by opportunity and quality of life, noting the city's relatively low unemployment rate and higher than average household income. The report also pointed to Mansfield's nationally recognized schools and continued residential growth. Mansfield's location in the DFW area was also seen as a plus, giving residents access to a major metro economy while maintaining what many consider a more suburban pace of life. The rankings come as Mansfield continues to see rapid development, including new housing, retail expansion, sports tourism, and major projects tied to the future Texas Health Mansfield Stadium and the city's growing profile ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. According to U.S. News, the rankings were designed to identify cities that offer the strongest combination of affordability, economic opportunity, and overall livability among America's largest communities.
The city of Mansfield is inviting residents to celebrate Juneteenth with an evening of music, food, art, and community gathering on June 19th at Geyer Commons. The event runs from 5 to 9 p.m. and will feature live music performances, art exhibitions, food trucks, and family-friendly activities at the city's new downtown gathering space. Juneteenth commemorates June 19, 1865, the day Union soldiers arrived in Galveston to announce the end of slavery in Texas, more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. The day has long been recognized in Texas and became a federal holiday in 2021. City officials say the Mansfield event is intended as a celebration of freedom, culture, and unity within the community. The Juneteenth celebration takes place Friday, June 19th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Geyer Commons in Mansfield.
And Colleen, after you finish up at the Juneteenth celebration, head on down to the Farr Theater as the comedy improv group The Understudies will be performing at the theater on the evening of June 19th. The show features unscripted comedy built entirely from audience suggestions, while performers creating scenes, characters, and dialogue live on stage. Organizers say no two performances are ever the same because every moment is improvised in real time. The Understudies describes the event as an unpredictable night of comedy with no script and no rehearsed outcomes. Tickets and additional information are available at understudiescomedy.com. All right, so check this out. And yes, Czech is a play on words. The city of Mansfield has announced that Grammy Award-winning group Brave Combo will perform at Check It Out Mansfield on June 21st. The event is being held as part of Mansfield's celebration connected to the Czech Republic national soccer team, which will use Mansfield Stadium as its base camp during the upcoming FIFA World Cup tournament. Brave Combo has 2 Grammy Awards under their accordion, and it's known for blending polkas with a wide range of musical styles. Their music has appeared on television shows including The Simpsons and Ugly Betty. The Alex Meisner Band will also be performing and has earned national recognition as well, including Grammy nomination and performances at festivals across the United States and Europe. The festival is scheduled for 5 p.m. on June 21st at Geyer Commons, located on East Broad Street at Walnut Creek Drive. Organizers say the event will feature music, food, drinks, and activities celebrating the Czech culture and a summer focused on international soccer. And while we're talking about sports, the Texas Rangers Foundation and Mansfield ISD will celebrate a new partnership during the Rangers game against the Houston Astros Thursday evening at Globe Life Field. Before the first pitch, the Rangers Foundation is scheduled to present the district with a $60,000 check to help purchase Chromebooks for students across Mansfield ISD. District officials say the partnership is aimed at supporting student learning and expanding access to educational technology across the district. Globe Life Field gates open at 5 p.m. with the first pitch scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available at texasrangers.com. Timberview's number 1, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
This summer, be the super parent of the season with the Hawaiian Falls Staycation Splash Pass. For just $49.99, get unlimited visits to your home park all summer long. Skip the hassle of travel. It's time for heart-racing slides, relaxing lazy rivers, wave pool adventures, and unforgettable memories right in your own backyard. All of the fun, none of the fuss. Make this the summer they'll never forget with the Staycation Splash Pass from Hawaiian Falls. Get yours now at hfalls.com. That's hfalls.com.
In sports, Timberview High School celebrated its boys track and field team after the Wolves captured the UIL 5A state championship on May 16th. A victory lap and community celebration were held on May 20th in the Timberview High School Commons, recognizing the team's standout season and state title performance. Students, family, and supporters all gathered to honor the championship squad and its accomplishments on the track. Elsewhere, North Texas SC picked up 1 point Saturday night after a 2-2 draw against San Jose Earthquakes 2 in their final match at Choctaw Stadium in Arlington before falling in the post-game penalty shootout. Natty James scored in the 66th minute for North Texas. Edunice added the equalizer in the 89th minute to force the shootout. Both players now lead MLS Next Pro with 8 goals this season. Goalkeeper Eric Demora returned to the starting lineup after missing 3 matches and recorded 3 saves. The match marked North Texas SC's final game at Choctaw Stadium before the club moves to Texas Health Mansfield Stadium later this season. In a post-game press conference, Coach John Gall reflected on playing in Arlington while looking ahead to Mansfield.
You know, this is a special place. It really is. It's always nice to come to historic places, but I'll be very honest with you. From a football perspective, from a purist of the game, I cannot wait to get to Mansfield. I cannot wait to play on a football stadium. I cannot wait to play on a grass field. I cannot wait to play on a stadium that's built for us. But again, that's not taking away nothing from Choctaw. We're extremely privileged to be here and to play matches here. But certainly looking forward to the move to Mansfield.
The team's home opener here in Mansfield is the 4th of July. North Texas SC now sits at 4 wins, 4 losses, 4 draws on the year, and will face St. Louis City 2 next Saturday in Missouri. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. This coming Saturday, May 30th, is National E-Bike Day, the one day of the year when people everywhere proudly say, "Hey, look, I'm cycling," while quietly letting the battery do most of the emotional heavy lifting. Guilty as charged, Your Honor. E-bikes have exploded in popularity because they let you ride farther, climb hills easier, and arrive at your destination without looking like you just lost a custody battle with a treadmill. They're part bicycle, part technology, and part magic trick for your knees. Whether you use one for commuting, exercise, trail riding, or just cruising around the neighborhood, like I do, Saturday's a good excuse to dust it off, and as Freddie Mercury once screamed, "Get on your bikes and ride!" And remember, helmets are still cool and gravity still remains undefeated.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and we're talking about a simple and accessible form of movement that's helping people of all ages improve their physical and mental well-being. In Methodist Mansfield, News to Know.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're closing out May's Sips and Stripes Forever theme with something worthy of the long Memorial Day weekend.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey, it's Luke with Cool Hand Electric and Air. Are your lights flickering? Is your AC struggling to keep up? Well, our solution-oriented cool hands are the local experts who fix it right the first time with a smile. Plus, 10% of our profits go to First Look and Waxahachie, so your project helps a family's future. At Cool Hand Electric and Air, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Yvette Coronado, who was the first person to correctly answer last week's Mansfield trivia question. Who owned the first hotel in Mansfield? Yvette knew that it was the husband and wife team of Julian and Henrietta Field, who ran an inn on the bottom floor of their home at West Broad Street and First Avenue. Looking for the weekly, highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question? You can find it at its new home on the About Mansfield Facebook page. So log on to Facebook right now and hit the About Mansfield News Talk page. As always, the first person to email the correct answer will win a $25 restaurant gift card, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance. Good luck.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
Hi, my name is Floyd S. Moody, ex-pastor of the Mount Horror Missionary Baptist Church, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about a simple and accessible form of movement that's helping people of all ages in Methodist Mansfield. News to know. Angel.
Chair yoga is a gentle form of yoga performed while seated or using a chair for support. It's especially beneficial for older adults, beginners, individuals recovering from an injury, or just anyone looking for a low-impact way to stay healthy. Research shows chair yoga can help improve flexibility, balance, circulation, posture, and strength, while also reducing stress, joint stiffness, muscle tension, and anxiety. One of the biggest benefits of chair yoga is how it supports both physical and mental health. The gentle movements and breathing exercises help calm the mind, improve relaxation, and encourage mindfulness. Even a few minutes of movement can help people feel more energized, centered, and emotionally balanced. Chair yoga can also help improve mobility and confidence, especially for older adults looking for safe and supportive ways to stay active. And we're excited to share that Methodist Mansfield Medical Center is now offering chair yoga classes on Thursday, June 11th, and Thursday, June 25th from 10 to 11. For more information or to register, contact us at 214-947-4628 or email us at generations@mhd.com. Until next time, keep moving, keep breathing, and take care of your mind and body. I'm Angel Biasatti reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up the perfect libation for the unofficial start of summer in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian.
Welcome back to the Cocktail of the Week, brought to you by Bourbon Gospel. I'm your host, Brian Certain, and we're closing out May's Sips and Stripes Forever theme with something worthy of the long Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is about honoring those who have served, gathering with the people you love, and standing next to a grill with something cold in your hand. It's one of the most genuinely American things we can do, and it deserves a drink that feels exactly that way. The Lone Star Lemonade Bourbon Sour is that drink. Ingredients: 2 ounces of Texas bourbon, 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice, ½ ounce of simple syrup, ½ ounce of egg white, and then we're going to garnish with a lemon wheel, an Amarino cherry, and a small flag if you're feeling especially patriotic. For glassware, a rocks glass or maybe a mason jar? That'd be fun. And then ice. It can either be cubed or crushed. How do we build this drink? Take your bourbon, your lemon juice, the simple syrup, and the egg white to a shaker with ice, and then dry shake for 10 seconds. Add the ice and shake vigorously for another 12 to 15 seconds. Strain it into a rocks glass over fresh ice, or serve it straight up in a coupe glass. The foam will naturally settle on top. Don't rush it. Garnish and serve, and then make about 8 more because everyone at the cookout is going to want one. The mocktail version. We're just going to call this one the Lone Star Lemonade. 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice, ½ ounce of simple syrup, the egg white, 3 ounces of sparkling water. We're going to dry shake the lemon juice, the syrup, and the egg white, then shake with ice, strain, and then top with a splash of sparkling water. It's essentially a classic lemonade with body, and it deserves garnish. The whiskey sour dates back to the 1860s, one of the earliest documented cocktail recipes involving spirit, citrus, and sweetener. Simple, balanced, built to last, and what sets the Texas version apart is the bourbon itself. Texas distillants tend toward higher grain bills and more heat, which means they need and reward a little more citrus. The lemon plays off that warmth instead of fighting it. The egg white is a modern addition borrowed from the plant-based cooking that creates the same silky texture without any of the mess or the food safety conversations. So this weekend, slow down. Raise a glass to those who made this country what it is. And if you're standing at a grill with a bourbon lemonade in your hand and the people you love nearby, I'm thinking that's not a bad place to be. But as always, I'm open to hear your take and input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio talk with nonprofit founder and CEO Doneta Bailey.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tondra Grimble with Stim It Up Sports, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. In the studio today, she is a founder and CEO of a nonprofit. She is a former podcast host. She has a BA in radio and TV from the University of Houston, and we welcome Doneta Bailey to About Mansfield.
Hey, Steve. Thanks so much for having me.
How you doing?
I'm great.
You live in Mansfield.
I do.
And you are a founder and a CEO of a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get into that in just a little bit. What I like to do in these interviews is actually find out who the person is that's sitting behind the other microphone. So let's find out who Doneta Bailey is. Were you born and raised in Texas?
Well, no, I was not. So I'm really a Yankee, honestly. Originally, so we got here when we were 9. I was actually born in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
Then we moved to Chicago when I was 5, and then we moved to Dallas, Fort Worth area when I was 9, and that's where I've been.
So you didn't you moved by age 5, so you really didn't get to feel those Minnesota winters.
Oh, no, I remember them.
Oh, you do?
I remember them. I remember the moon boots, and I remember the head-to-toe outfits to make sure we stayed warm. And, yeah, we'd get snowed in. At least in Minnesota, we got snowed in. So
I remember my son got his master's from the University of Minnesota, and he told me, now he coming from Texas where it's 35 degrees and everything shuts down because it's icy and da-da-da.
Right.
And so he says, he calls us up and says, Mom, Dad, it's 30 below and they don't close the schools.
Nope, they don't. They bundle you up. I'm thinking about what is that? A Christmas Story. There's a scene where they're bundling the kid all up.
Sure.
And that's what they did to us. Yeah.
Okay.
And you still had to walk to the bus stop and get on the bus.
And wait for the bus.
Yeah, it's expected. It was part of the package.
And then Chicago, of course, being right there on the lake, you had some cold times there too.
Yes, I do remember the cold, even though I was really, really young. But that's one thing I remember.
What brought you to Texas?
Well, my family moved down here to get closer to our family or my mom's family.
And the warmer weather.
And, well, I mean, that's a plus. I don't know if that was it. But yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Well, I graduated from Coppell High School, but our family started off in Richardson, and we stayed there for a little while. Then we lived in Plano, and then we moved to Irving, where I went to Coppell schools.
Were you an educator, or what made you decide to start this Education Foundation nonprofit?
No, I was not in education. I was far from it. I was in radio, television, and had my own business, and was, creating content for different businesses and churches and things like that. But my husband was in education. And so his journey in education started at a very low income, very under-resourced school district. And he and I had both grown up in very middle-class neighborhoods. And, I was in Coppell and he was in the equivalent in Pittsburgh. And so we had not really seen what the achievement gap looked like until he started teaching at this school. And it was quite an eye-opener.
Going back to your experience, you have an education in radio and TV. And did you work in the media as well? Or did that take you to your first job in corporate?
No, actually, my first job in corporate was at a local, it's really a national advertising PR agency. But no, I didn't have any education background. It really was just my eyes being opened to the problem of the achievement gap.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how other people were experiencing education. That was brand new to us.
And you were learning that through the PR company, or?
No, I was learning that from my husband's experience. So he was teaching 8th grade math, and, we tell the one ream of paper story, and that is that on his first day, he was given one ream of paper to teach 125 8th grade students, and that was it for the entire semester. For the entire semester. And so that was really just, our kind of an understanding of how under-resourced this school was. And we also went on to find out that it was really difficult to get parents to come for parent-teacher conferences, hard to get them on the phone, hard to get them involved. And it was just because the way their life was going for them. They sometimes had multiple jobs, and it was just really difficult for them to manage their life circumstances.
And that's one ream of paper this is long before Chromebooks.
Right.
And they're using actual books
and worksheets and things like that. Yeah.
So a ream of paper can go pretty fast.
Yes, very fast. And it was just very surprising because that just was not our experience at all. And we just realized that these kids were going to be in trouble if they did not have some sort of intervention. But then His second teaching experience was in Las Colinas, which if you're familiar with this area, you know that that was a very different polar opposite experience. And, he called me on the first day and he said, babe, the Office Depot truck pulled up and they dropped off everything that we need. Plus, I have a personal budget just for my classroom that I don't even need to use because we have everything that we need. And so just looking at the differences in these kids and their situations and, realizing that there wasn't a huge difference in the actual kids. These kids had were born with their own purpose and their own talent and all those things. But there was a vast difference in the resources that were available to them.
Right.
And so that was really what inspired me to start Noggin. Is I knew that these kids needed some out-of-school intervention in order to change the trajectory of their lives.
Because in Coppell, they had an endless supply of reams of paper.
Yes.
All right. You started Noggin Education Foundation. How old is the foundation?
We just made 10 years old last year.
Congratulations.
So we're really proud. So many nonprofits don't get beyond a couple of years. And so our community has been supporting us for 10 years. And we work with between a couple hundred to 1,000 kids a year.
Doing what?
We really have a multi-pronged approach to serving our students. And the key to that is our tutoring program. So we actually use certified teachers that go into the homes of our students and they work one-on-one with our kids in math and ELA so that they can identify and close gaps in learning. And so that is a year-long thing. We actually make a long-term commitment because so many of our kids come to us 2 to 3 grades behind. Mm-hmm. And we know that 6 months of tutoring, even a year of tutoring is not going to make the kind of impact that's going to get them up to grade level and then beyond. So we try to work with them. If we get to them in 3rd grade, then we want to work with them until they graduate from high school so that they have comparable opportunities to their peers.
When a child comes to you or a parent with a child comes to you, is the tutoring done in their home or do they go to a central location?
Yeah, it's actually done in their homes. And part of the reason why we think that this is so important is because our tutors and our teachers are kind of frontline workers for us. They get to go into the home and kind of see what the situation is like. And so I tell them, hey, if you show up and there's, every day or every, once a week at 5:00 and there's never food, that's the kind of thing we want to know.
Right.
Or if, you hear a parent is saying, hey, I just lost my job or we need to go to a food pantry or any of those things, we try to identify those other needs that can often impact academic success. And so what we do is we partner with different organizations in the community and try to refer them to different things that can make their load a little lighter, but then can also help them to focus a little more on academics.
And so what happens if a family, the mom or dad has lost a job and they can't afford your service?
Oh, well, the great thing about Noggin is that everything is free for all of the families that come to us. They just have to qualify for Medicaid, and they don't actually even need to be receiving the service. They just need to, it's kind of how we know whether or not they are eligible for our services. But as long as they are able to prove that they qualify for Medicaid, then we serve them, and we just count on the community to help us to continue to do that.
So they don't have to be on Medicaid, but they have to be able to qualify for Medicaid.
Yes, the tutoring service and all of our enrichment programs as well.
Okay. What kind of feedback are you receiving from the school districts?
Well, it's really wonderful. And because my husband works in MISD, my kids are in MISD, MISD has really rolled out the red carpet for us. We have a great relationship with them. They have shared our information about our robotics camps and our, STEM Strong Sisters programs, all the enrichment things that we do and tutoring. And one of the things I love is when parents come to me and they send me emails or messages from their kids' school day teachers saying, "What are you doing? What's different? I've noticed that he's more confident in class or his grades are going up." And that's the kind of feedback that is really amazing for us and just kind of is proof in the pudding.
I've interviewed other tutor companies out there here on this podcast. What makes your Noggin, and I love that name, what makes Noggin different than the other tutoring companies out there?
Yeah, well, we're relationship based. Like I said, we feel like our model of going into homes is so important because there's so much going on with our families. They're struggling so much. So going into the homes is the first thing. You will not find that with other tutoring companies. Most of them have centers or go into the schools or something like that, but we go into their homes. And so what our tutors are able to do is to build a relationship with the whole family and to become trusted advocates for them, because the school system is sometimes difficult for really anybody, but especially families in our demographic to navigate. Sometimes they have issues and they don't know how to deal with it. And to have an actual educator come into your home and be able to say, oh, yeah, maybe you should ask for testing, or maybe, we should look at the gifted and talented program. There's just so many ways that they're able to connect the dots for them.
Where do you find your tutors?
Our tutors are teachers in the neighborhood, in the community. We like to have teachers that are close by because they are already a part of the community. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they already are teaching at the kids' schools, or they're in the district, and so we like to have that local impact.
What are some of the challenges that Noggin has seen over the years?
Gosh, so many. I mean, growing a nonprofit from nothing is kind of a big deal. We didn't have an endowment of money that came in, or even we weren't started from another organization. We started from just a dream, and we just started sharing with our friends and family, and we were able to fund our first thing, which was our summer math and reading program at the time. But just learning how to do this. I wasn't in the nonprofit space. I knew a couple of people in that, and so learning to be a leader of a nonprofit organization was one of the biggest challenges. But I've learned to grow and figure things out and meet more people who are doing this. But lately, funding is just our biggest challenge. And that's the case with most of the nonprofits right now. The economy is complicated right now. And so giving has been down. And so, all of us nonprofit leaders are trying to figure out how to diversify the funding that comes in to support our mission. And we're just trying to figure out how to, make sure that what we do is sustainable.
Talk about the first year versus the 10th year, because there's got to be a huge difference. You mentioned starting from nothing. So a year one versus year 10, what does that look like?
It's kind of like year one of parenting versus year 10 of parenting. Year one, we just had one program at the time. It was SPARK, that stands for Summers Producing Academically Ready Kids. Like I said, that's our summer program. And that was all we were doing at the time. Right now, we have 5 different programs. And so, we have a lot more people supporting us. At the time, my husband and I were cutting and pasting activities in our bedroom while we watched movies. And so, that was definitely challenging. We couldn't invite volunteers into our bedroom to come cut and paste with us. It was just the two of us. So fortunately, we've had people champion our cause and help us to get an office and things like that. But year 10, there's been so many people that I believe the Lord has just helped to catch the vision and the mission of Noggin and come alongside, because what I've realized really in just the last year is that I have built a jumbo jet, and I didn't even mean to do it.
Sure.
I've built a jumbo jet, and I have been doing a lot to fly this jumbo jet, and he's just been bringing the people to help, hand out peanuts and maintain the plane and, navigate, do all these other things. And
the Biscoff cookies.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. I'm going to guess thousands of kids that have gone through in 10 years. There's got to be a success story that sticks out in your mind. Do you have one?
Yeah, so many. From Miss Rochelle, whose she has 3 kids who all had special needs and all had IEPs, and it was the pandemic and schools had closed, and she was desperate, like we all were, who had kids in school and trying to figure all of this out.
I'm sure there's someone out there listening right now that's going, What's an IEP?
Oh, right. It's an individualized education plan. And so if you have a special need or a learning disability and you've received the testing, then what the school does is we have what's called an ARD meeting. Don't ask me what ARD stands for, but it's a bunch of representatives from the school, teachers, administrators, diagnosticians. We all come together and we put together a plan of action to help a student who has dyslexia or autism and what services the school can provide in order to help them along.
Tell me the story about Miss Rochelle.
Yeah, so, she was struggling. I was struggling. I had 3 kids, and she had 3 as well, but it was hard because they didn't know how to offer services in the middle of a pandemic when kids aren't coming to school. Mm-hmm. And so we had an ARD advocacy program, or we still do. And so we connected her with a professional advocate who was able to help her to figure out what she needed to ask the school to do, attend virtually that ARD meeting, and help them to continue services. And that made a huge difference for her. We were already a little bit in a panic because we're in the middle of a pandemic, but then you also have a kid who has dyslexia, and they're not sure how to continue providing those services amidst also doing learning at home and things like that.
Is there a case where a child comes to you and you don't know what to do? You mentioned dyslexia, but was your foundation ready for dyslexia from day one, or or a special needs student? Was there a time where a student came to you, or a parent with a student came to you, and you were just like, I don't know what to do with this child?
No, not really. I mean, there have been difficult situations, but the thing is that God has really sent us amazing educators. We have, 52% of our kids have special needs with Noggin. Yeah, some sort of special need, whether it's, could be anxiety. That's another one.
Sure.
But autism, dyslexia, all these different things. And so we've made a concerted effort to make sure that we hire people who have SPED experience. So we have teachers that are actually SPED teachers, or, all kids, even my husband, who's, a high school math teacher, he has a lot of experience dealing with kids with IEPs and 504 plans and whatnot. So we've had professionals consistently throughout the years who really know what to do. This is what they do. This is what they're trained to do.
The nonprofit, again, is called the Noggin Education Foundation, and you mentioned funding. What's the best way to fund Noggin?
Right. So the first way is to go to nogginfoundation.org. That's the easiest way. You can give a one-time gift, or you can become what we call a brainiac. That's our monthly donors, and they're a special group of people who help us to think a little less about funding and more about how we can serve our kids, because they bring in consistent funding. But we also just need more people to know about Noggin. I've been telling our board, we've got to stop being the best kept secret in the Metroplex. More people need to know about us. And when more people do hear about us, whenever people hear about the vision of Noggin and what we've been doing, they're amazed that they haven't heard about us before. And they usually come on board and want to support in some sort of way. They either want to volunteer or they want to give. So we just need more awareness and more visibility. And we honestly need introductions to people who are able to really move the needle as far as write checks that are going to make a big difference for our organization.
501c3?
Yes.
Anybody out there with a checkbook? Noggin Education Foundation. And what are you in need of right now in terms of, do you need more tutors or do you need more students?
That's a hard, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly.
Right. Well, we actually right now need 5. We have 5 kids that need tutoring, and some tutors who have either moved or whatever and are no longer able to work with us. We are looking for some middle school math teachers. But we also have our robotics camp coming up this summer. It's sponsored by Nissan. This is their 3rd year sponsoring us. And we have 30 slots. I think we've got half of them filled right now. So all you have to do is qualify for Medicaid, and it's a free evening camp that's all week long in July.
And takes place, give me the who, what, when, where, and why. You're a TV person. Come on.
Yeah. So TCAL Church is where my husband and I attend church. Our family attends church. So
Sure.
they're wonderful in giving us space to do that. So we do that there. It's in Venus Mansfield, right about there. And it's July, don't get me lying, but it's on our website, nogginfoundation.org.
In July.
In July, yes. And it's in the evenings. And so you get to, it's convenient for parents who work and aren't able to bring their kids during the day.
Yeah, robotics is great. The Ben Barber, I'm sure you're aware, has a robotic. I think they have a couple of robotics teams that do really well, and so now you're having a robotics summer camp. Maybe those that are going up into high school then would continue that education. And the Fighting Pickles
That's the name?
Is the Ben Barber.
That's awesome.
Because they're right across the street from the
pickle plant?
From the pickle plant.
Yeah, okay.
And
that makes good sense.
Yeah. Ben Barber's robotics team. Is there anything that you expected me to ask that I didn't ask? And what would the answer to that question be?
My why?
Yeah. Okay. Doneta, what is your why?
My why? I just want... Just thinking back to those first kids that David tutored, or that he taught, I just did not like that there was this haves and this have-nots situation that I was seeing. There were kids who, through no fault of their own, did not necessarily have a bright future. Our tagline is, every child deserves a shot at a bright future. And what I really want for Noggin to achieve, and we are closer and closer each day to that, but is to be an academic support system for our students and really open up doors for them. We want them to, be able to bridge gaps in learning and understanding and content, but more so than that, we want to inspire them. We want them to know, and we do with Noggin a lot of career exploration. We have programs that we do like career chats and things like that, because so many of these kids don't know what opportunities are out there. They may only know somebody that has a wage-earning job, right? Yeah. But with our programs, our enrichment programs, we open up the horizon for them. They get to see people who are doing tech jobs and other STEM jobs and all of these things that maybe they never could have imagined. So what we do is we not only prepare them to get there, but we also show them what's possible. And so we are working to surround our students so that they're able to dream bigger and so that they're prepared to actually realize those dreams.
They get to go on field trips?
They get to go on field trips, yes, with our STEM Strong Sisters programs. We've been to Fidelity, we've been to WFAA, and we've visited their meteorology department. We've been to Mary Kay with their plant where they make all the lipsticks and things.
Sure.
They get to go all sorts of wonderful places and just oftentimes see people that look like them doing things that they never could have imagined.
A student may not be doing well in school. It plays on the confidence.
Yes.
And when they start getting A's and B's on their tests, that confidence turns around and it snowballs.
Yes.
And I would assume that's where tutoring comes in. I'll give you a really brief story. When my son was in high school, your husband may like this story because my son was a math nerd. He thought that math was a game to him, to a point where he became so good at math, he started while in high school, started a math tutoring company.
I love it.
And one of his first students was a friend of his that was probably 10, 15 houses down the street. And his first question was, "Why did you fail your last test?" And he goes, "Because everybody's turning in their tests so quickly that it makes me feel like I have to rush." He says, "Okay, first of all, a test is not a race. Mm-hmm. So when you go in to take that next test, don't worry about who's turning it in fast. Take your time, forget about everybody else, tune everybody else out." He took his advice and scored like a 92 on his next test. And he goes, "Wow." And his confidence just flipped. Which is funny because he no longer needed my son's services.
He lost a client.
He goes, all right, I know how to take a test now.
I know how to do it now.
Confidence is, and that's what I would assume your tutoring company is building confidence.
That is the most frequent comment that I hear from parents is that their confidence soars. Even before the content materializes for them and they're able to put all those puzzle pieces together. Just having that one-on-one support of somebody that I see every single week and is there for me, right? Of course your teacher is, and the schools are doing the best that they can with what they have. But the likelihood of having, 23 to 30 students means that they don't have the luxury of giving you that one-on-one support like they would like to. Right. And that's one of the things that my teachers say that they love about Noggin, why they stay, is because they're able to do what they cannot do in the classroom. They're able to provide that one-on-one support, and it's structured based on what the kid needs, what the student actually needs. Whereas in the classroom, you kind of got to go with everybody. You've got to, teach what's going to be good for the group versus being able to hone in on what an individual kid needs. But that sort of support from their tutor and the parent and the teacher making a team makes confidence soar. They go into the classroom knowing they have people behind them and that they're learning every single week more and more that's helping put the puzzle pieces together for them.
Noggin Education Foundation is the place to find, and we've been speaking with Doneta Bailey, founder and CEO of the nonprofit. I had mentioned all the way a half an hour ago. Do you want to give a plug for your podcast?
Oh, I would love to.
Okay, because I know you mentioned it's been a couple of years since you've done it, but I would assume the episodes are still out there.
They're still out there wherever you find your podcast. It's called School Dazed Show, and the website is schooldazedshow.com.
And it's DAZED,
yes.
Dazed as in...
Dazed and confused.
Dazed and confused.
As you are often with parenting.
I was going to say my current state of mind, but that's all right. Dazed and confused works. School Dazed is the podcast.
Mm-hmm. School Dazed.
And on any major podcast platform.
Yep. School Dazed, help for moms and dads of school-aged kids. And we invite people on to talk about anything that can impact education. So we've talked about gaming. We've talked about ADHD, test taking, all sorts of things.
The nonprofit is called Noggin Education Foundation. They can be found on the internet at noggineducation.org. And if you have a child that could use some tutoring and you qualify for Medicaid, check them out. If you are a corporation that is looking for a tax write-off, check them out. nogginfoundation.org. Doneta, any final comments?
No, I'm just so thrilled. I love talking about Noggin and sharing our mission. So thank you so much for inviting me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Have a great day.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we will talk in studio with another fine Mansfield resident. You'll just have to tune in to find out who it is. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast. If you haven't already, so you never miss an episode, it's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts, Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Mansfield Military Moment, Nike Harrison. Post-production, editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.